Hey, happy Wednesday, family. Just doing my weekly check-in, and so I wanted to share a report. The last time I shared a video a couple of weeks ago, I think, about the okra seeds that we planted way back in February. It looked like we had about 3 or 4 pots that were sprouting. Well, that same week, I became sick and I was home, like, didn't leave my house for, I think it was 5 days. It actually might have been 6, but definitely 5 days. I didn't leave my apartment. I missed 3 days of school in a row, and 2 were because I was sick. 1 was because it was my day off, my weekly day off. And when I returned to school, all of my sprouts had burned. All of them had burned. It had not rained, which is unusual for this part of Spain, and the sun had been out. And so I didn't have any sprouts left. So in an effort, a desperate effort to try to rescue them, I went ahead and watered them, and I was like, I'll see what happens. The next day I came back, 1 pot had recovered. And that's where we stand today. I've been watching it, I've been tending to it, and so right now I've had to toss all of my okra seeds except for 1 sprout in one of the pots. So I'm thankful for that. And obviously we're going to get the pot to someone who's going to be able to properly care for it. But what I wanted to share is way back when before my seeds had started sprouting, I shared a reflection about me wanting to take a peek at the seeds to see how they were doing and what they were doing. And I told you guys I was going to research what it would mean for someone to disturb the soil of a planting before you saw the sprouts. And so what I found was that seeds and plantings should never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, be disturbed before they break ground. In very, very rare cases, if the soil is disturbed before the seedling or planting breaks ground, the roots may be strong enough to recover, but most of the time the roots are not strong enough to recover. So what I found is that for a healthy plant, typically the root would not be strong enough, and it would take extreme care in order to nurse that planting back to where it will continue to grow. Weeds, on the other hand, those roots are resilient and it's almost impossible to kill them. So good seeds can be irreparably damaged without extreme care if the root is disturbed. Weeds, bad seeds, are almost impossible to kill. So you know there's already a lesson in that, right? I'm not going to preach it today. But what I want to focus on is the resilience of sometimes a single seed. So let's talk about a single seed. You can take a handful of seeds and plant them together. And you can take multiple groups of seeds and plant them separately at the same exact time. All of them might grow together, none of them might grow together. You might get one or two from each batch that grows together. But sometimes, after the seed has been planted, after it's been tended to, cultivated, cared for, and then begins to grow, what happens when some of those seeds or all of those seeds, when they're very fragile, become scorched? Right? Scripture tells us exactly what can and often does happen. And in my situation, I saw this happen. But what does it say about the resilience of a single seed when, after it's been planted, cared for, cultivated, nurtured, scorched, and then tended to carefully and lovingly again? What does that say about that seed? So now we don't have just a lesson about planting and allowing our dreams, our callings, our purpose, our mission to sit in the dark, in the soil, blind and untouched for a season. Now we can talk about what it means about that calling, that vision, that dream, if it begins to grow at a very young age and then gets scorched. How do we tend that lovingly back to health and growth? And what does it say about the resilience of what it is that we are cultivating? When it comes from God, when it is ordained, there it will absolutely come back. There will be no death. There will be no miscarriage. There will be no, it won't be able to die. And so that's how sometimes we might feel. We might feel like, I had this really bad season of darkness, and then I finally see a little bit of light, and then it seems like my whole dream, everything that I worked for, literally burned to the ground, literally was set on fire. But God. And so now I am leaving Spain with a single seed that has resisted the darkness, has resisted the fire of scorching, and is continuing to grow. And I believe it is going to bear fruit. I feel like that is a very strong symbol of my time here in Spain. Even though it was a short period of time, I believe that the fruit that is going to manifest as a result of that seed is a direct reflection of what God has done during my time here. So you all can take that or leave it. You can apply it to your own life, to your own situations, your own dreams, callings, purposes, whatever it is that God has planted in you, or wherever He has planted you. I love y'all. Thank you for joining me. I'll show a picture of my single seed that is still growing. And thanks as always for joining me on this journey. I've got one day left, y'all. Love you. Bye.